Welcome to another episode of Devs on Tape. Today I have a very interesting guest, again from Kscope and Aurora, next to Denver in Colorado. So in the vast realm of Oracle technologies, a true luminary emerges, a seasoned professional with an extraordinary journey. Starting with Oracle RDBMS 5 in distant past, the visionary has earned the experience in crafting remarkable applications for end users. For over 15 years, his unwavering focus has centered on Oracle Application Express, shortly APEX, transforming the landscape of software development. Within ODI-TUG, his dedication knows no bounds. As he esteemed APEX content lead for Kscope 14 and 15, he sculpted unforgettable experiences for attendees, ensuring they delved into the depths of APEX. Presently, he stands as a revered member of the board of directors, steering the Oracle community towards new horizons. His contributions has not gone unnoticed, earning him a constellation of accolades. In June 2009, he became an Oracle ace for the first time, a testament for his exceptional expertise. By August 2010, his ascent had continued and he ascended. I never do that in the first try, right? As he ascended to the esteemed rank of an Oracle Ace Director. In June 2019, he was anointed to Oracle Groundbreaker Ambassador, further solidifying his influential role in the Oracle realm. But his influence extends beyond individual achievements. A master of the written word, he has co-authored authoritative tomes that illuminate the depths of Oracle Application Express. Expert Oracle Application Express and Oracle Application Express for mobile web applications stand as testaments to his dedication to sharing knowledge and empowering others. I'm happy to welcome Roel Hartmann to Devs on Tape. Hi, Roel.
Hi, Kai. That was quite a nice introduction.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by myself.
Awesome. So as usual, I'm not doing it on the first take, but there will be no second today, right?
No, there is no time because we're too busy here.
Exactly. I hope it was quite on point what I got here. So you're an Ace Director right now.
Yeah, I'm an Ace Director since 2010. That's what you said.
Yeah, August 2010.
Yeah.
So is it real that you? Is it correct that you entered the Ace program in 2009 and you just 1 year later you became an Ace Director?
Yes, I guess
Wow.
so. Yeah, there was no Ace associated at the time, so there were only 2 levels.
But it's quite a accomplishment to get to Ace Director, like one step up in 1 year, right?
Yes, but I think I was already qualifying for Ace Director a little bit earlier, so it's just like a 1 year step up.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't feel like that. Mm-hmm. So I was already doing presentations, etc., since I don't know, years before that.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that was my impression when I first met you. I think it was like 8 or 9 years ago, right when I started my career in Oracle Apex. I saw you at conferences and I was just guessing he don't have a real home because he's just traveling around the world and speaking at conferences, contributing to all over the world communities. So you're very often on the move, right?
That's what a lot of people say. Hey, where are you going next?
Yeah, exactly.
So, it might feel that way. But that's also an aspect that I really, really like. Mm-hmm. So I'm self-employed, and that gives me the opportunity and the freedom to do more or less whatever I like, within certain limitations, of course. Mm-hmm. So, and there was also the main reason to become independent. So I was working with a regular software company earlier, and I was already able to deliver presentations here and there. But I also got the feeling that it was limited because the company always asked, what's in it for us? Mm-hmm. And that sounds very familiar, of course. And I was a little bit tired of that because there is no direct revenue of doing presentations.
Yeah.
And no financial revenue. I would say no direct, but there is an indirect one. But that takes time. People know it is like creating a brand. So yourself is a brand. It's not that it's the goal, but that just happens.
Yeah.
And people can find you. So since I became self-employed 12 years ago, something like that, I never had to look for work, for instance. People just contacted me and say, hey, I know you, I've seen your blogs, I've seen you presenting. We've got a problem, can you help us to solve it?
And those projects you're doing as a self-employed, usually in the area where you're living. So you're from Netherlands, right? Right. So are you working in Germany, Netherlands, or is it across the globe?
No, I'm only working mostly of the time I'm working in Netherlands. So since 2-3 years, I got a German-based customer. But before that, it was always in the Netherlands.
Okay. Because you don't get offers from overseas, or?
I did some very small things for someone in Taiwan and someone in the US, but it's complicated for especially tax-wise and those kind of things. So if we keep it in the European Union, everything is easier.
Yeah. Correct. So yeah, you're traveling around, being on conferences, and you're contributing to ODI-TUG.
Yeah,
like you're even on the board of directors. So this sounds like much things to do, many things to do.
It is. So I've been in the board of directors since 5 years. So the term is 6 years. So 2-3 years terms nowadays. So we have to have you have to be elected and those kind of things. So the question is, why would you do something like that? Don't you have a user group at home?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we have a user group at home, but that's not. It's of course it's in the Netherlands, smaller. They have less activities. And the first time I was at Kscope was in New Orleans in 2008 or something like that, and I was immediately hooked. Yeah. Because the sheer size of the conference, it was larger than I was not what I was expecting, but it was larger than I was used of in the Netherlands, for instance, and maybe not larger than DOAG, but I didn't attend DOAG at that moment in time. But it has exactly the correct size of people, so you can meet everyone. Yeah. So and all the experts are here. So I was sitting in the pool with Tom Kite, for instance, at that time. So and then Stephen Forrester and all those big names, they attended Kscope, and everyone was very approachable. So you can meet them during breakfast or lunch or dinner or in the hallway or in the pool or wherever you are, and everyone was approachable and friendly, and that just say, hey, this is the place where I want to be. Yeah. So I only missed one Kscope in all those years.
So you were attendee, right? You're not presenter at that time, or did you start as
the first time I was only an attendee.
Okay.
And I remember showing something. We had a pretty neat solution at that moment in time, which enabled drag and drop stuff in Apex. And so I showed that to the Apex development team members at that time. David Peake was one of them, and Joel Kalman was there as well, and there were a couple of other ones. And so I showed them that this is what I created, and they were amazed. Hey, can you do that in Apex? So they were surprised that you could do that in their product. I said, yeah. And so and then I listened to the presentations, and I said, the presentation is pretty good, but I can do that too. Yeah, I would say I could do it better, but
so some aspects you would change, right? So you had ideas to do it better.
Yeah, so the solution that I shown there, I just turned that into a presentation because apparently it was something special.
Sure, yeah.
So I didn't think it was very special beforehand, but other people did, and that's a lot of times if people don't want to present, because they say I think it's scary to present, or but one of the other reasons usually what I'm doing is not that special, and that's totally wrong. Yeah, because there's always people in the audience that are surprised by the solutions or the ideas that you're presenting, even because for you they're quite normal. Yeah, but they are special for other people.
And I think this is the role that the voters or the reviewer of the abstract submission, the call for paper is doing, right? They're listening or they're reading your abstracts and seeing if this might be interesting for the broader mass. So it's always a great thing to submit like 3 or 4 talks, even those you would not expect to be so useful for like everyone, but there might be people who are interested in exactly a solution you did before, right? So you had a problem maybe, and then there are two options. You find a solution from someone else, and you know that there are blogs and tweets or whatever about that, or you made a solution for a problem your own. And then you didn't find anything in the web for that. So this might be interesting for many other developers too.
Yeah,
so that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. That's the case. But as also people think if they, we would love to see other presenters, new presenters at not only here but also at the Dutch user group, for instance, and probably in Germany is exactly the same. We want to see new people. How do you get them to present? So one of the things is people might think if I can only submit a presentation if I already have it ready. So all the slides should be there, the demo should be there, etc. That's not the way I'm doing it.
No, never.
Never. So usually what I'm saying, hey, this is a nice subject. So I come up with a title and I come up with a short description and saying, hey, this is my submission. And then they accept it, and then I say, oh, and now I have to deliver as well.
Yeah, this is a motivation to learn, right?
Exactly, that's the way I use it. Also, there was I did a presentation a couple of years about Docker. So my idea said, this is a cool technology. I want to know more about it, but I don't have the time or no specific good reason to do so. So, but I submitted an abstract, Docker for Dummies, and with a story in there, and then got accepted. And then I said, okay, now I have to dive into this technology, and it's an opportunity to learn.
And that's great. I remember those talks. I saw them a couple of times because you are attending so many different conferences, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single conference, right? So you have like a repertoire of current presentations, and then you
absolutely. It's just a matter of reuse, recycle.
Yeah, sure. Of course, there are always new attendees on conferences who likes to have you speak about this topic. And at least if you are presenting the same presentation for a couple of times, it's getting even better, right?
Yeah, so I did this morning, did a presentation. I don't know exactly how often I've done it, but I think maybe 10 times now.
Yeah.
But it's always a different hook. It's not totally scripted. They're not always the same because there's always reaction from the audience and asking questions and those kind of things. So there's always a little bit different. The first time is always the hardest one, and then it's brand new, and then you're getting to a certain flow, and delivering those kind of things is better. And you don't submit it for the same conference twice. That's not what I'm doing. But it's like there's a whole year of conferences, and every conference I'm just submitting the same presentations, and then you have to come up with a new one. So I got some new ones. I got 2 new ones which is just a title and a short description, but I have to create them because I have to deliver them in the fall, at least I think in Croatia. So
for it is not in Zagreb, it's the other one, right?
Yeah,
on this
island. On the island.
Yeah, this is a great conference. I was thinking of that again, also, but let's take a step back. So you were starting to present, right? And then you present even more and more. And how does this journey proceed? So you're ended as a board of director member. How does this happen?
Yeah, so I liked Kscope, and then I said I want to give back to the community. So Kscope gave me a lot because I met all these great people. The people I only knew from the internet, they were just there and regular people. So I said, hey, I want to give back to the community. So I started doing the content chair. So the first thing was just in the committee for judging abstracts, of course. So it's like a growing path. So you're going to the abstract selection committee. Then I was content chair, and then you get to know more and more people. And I just love the organization and the things that we're doing. So now I want to give back to the community, because while ODTUG is US based, it is a worldwide organization. So I think to have a European perspective of things might be a welcome addition to the American mostly American-based board anyway.
Yeah, right. So you just started in a review committee, and then you worked more and more and contributed, and then at some point you were recognized, right? And then I think you were nominated to be voted for. Or
you can
yourself?
nominate yourself.
Okay.
You should nominate yourself. It's not like a surprise one. Hey, I'm on the board of directors.
Yeah, it's not like the ACE program, right?
No, it's not like the ACE program. In this case, you say I'm going to step up. I want to be on the ballot.
If you want, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's an election, and then you might or might not get in.
So, what influence has that on your private life or your work life? So, if you are having meetings with them overseas, you just have to stay up late, right? Or
no, luckily, the meetings are on a good time. So they are in their morning hours, so in my afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon.
So we have every month we have a meeting. The regular meetings is always on the Friday or Saturday afternoon in our time zone. So early, like depends on where the other people are located. If they're on East and West Coast, it's somewhere between 7 and 9 every year.
Oh yeah. So you're planning to extend your stay in the board of directors. You said there is a period of 6 years when you were.
There's a term limit. So my limit ends next year.
Oh,
so only 1 year left.
Can you come back in the next years?
Yes, you can come back. There has to be. I have to check the bylaws that says how many years will be in between.
There's a strict rule.
Yeah, there are strict rules.
Okay, so there might be a place for you, right?
Yeah, but also I would like to give other people the opportunity to,
of course,
to bring their take and their experience to the board of directors as well.
Yeah, that's nice. So speaking of the conferences, so you're very active on the ODI-TUG. I know you are very active on other conferences as a presenter. What is your favorite conference besides Kscope?
Okay, I cannot pick that one.
No.
I think it might be Croatia.
The island one.
The island one, yeah. Because it looks like we're on island here as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like a big resort in the middle of nothing.
Exactly.
We can see the mountains far away, we can see the airport, and we can see Denver downtown, but Denver is like half an hour from here.
Yeah, by car, yeah.
By car.
1.5 hours by bus. So our listeners might have heard about that in an earlier episode of Devs on Tape. So we were commuting through Denver with by bus.
There's
like
a train as well, by the way.
There's a train, yeah. We took that too, but it takes even longer to get along that. Yeah. So that means that the next Kscope is the last Kscope in your current period in the board of directors. And it will be in Nashville, as I heard.
It will be Nashville.
And it will be in July for the first time, I think.
Correct.
All right. So let's take another very big step back. So I would like to know more about your career. You said already that you getting into self-employment, but you developed software before. So how did you come into the software development at all? Like beginning?
The first beginning, I studied informatics.
Okay.
So I can't do anything else, apparently. So I studied informatics. So I'm a Master of Science in informatics. And then the first thing I had to do civil service in the Netherlands back then, not anymore. And luckily I could do some work related to IT during civil service. And then I worked for a software company, mostly at Philips.
Yeah.
Did a couple of projects over there. And after 5 or 7 years, I think it was 5 years, I switched to another software company, which was based in The Hague at that moment in time. Stayed there for 17 years or something like that, 12, a long time at least.
So what programming languages did you use before? Obviously not Apex or HTML-DB. It was like started web development, or was client side, or COBOL, Delphi, Haskell?
So I'm that old, there was no web development.
Oh, there was no web at all, right?
I don't. There probably was some kind of web. But so I did start with Oracle stuff pretty early. So Forms 2.3, and that's when I started with. And it's Oracle Case and Oracle Case Dictionary, something like that. So there was a case tool back in the old days, which has a similar reference to what Apex did. So you could define the functionality and then press the button, wait for a long time, and then it would generate code.
Oh, okay.
So that
kind of low code then, yeah.
Not very low, but not as easy, of course, as Apex did right now. So I was using that stuff. So it was all Oracle back then. So Oracle for version 5 on MS-DOS, just run on a computer, 20 megabyte kind of thing. Upgrades to 6, etc. So all the versions. And I did some Pascal programming as well, and DB3, that kind of thing. So back in all this, but at a certain moment in time, I only did Oracle. So I did large Oracle forms stuff, Oracle reports for many, many years. So, and after a certain moment in time, I encountered HTMLDB at a project, and they said, "Hey, what's that?" So I installed that and said, "Hey, this is pretty cool."
Yeah. Then you were just focusing on Apex,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so that's why we're here now.
Yeah, of course. So, do you have any nice stories about your project? So, at least you're very long in the business, right? So, what is your most interesting customer experience using Apex?
Ooh, that's a difficult question. So yeah, of course, what you're doing right now, the current one, is the most technically challenging thing. The most, that's the most features. There are some other ones that I cannot talk about because it's for Ministry of Defense. So
okay. In the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know how much I can tell. So I'm on the safe side. I won't tell anything.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
And the current one right now, for instance, is working for a German customer in the pharmaceutical industry. So what we're doing right now is creating software to support pharmaceutical organizations in drugs trial. And the main issue with drugs trials is they run all over the world. And every country has their own rules regarding, what should happen when something is wrong with the drug. So if someone gets an adverse reaction, so you're taking a drug in a test and your nose started bleeding, which was not expected. And then that should be reported to whoever is in charge.
So the patient is reporting that to a doctor?
No, the doctor is reporting that. So, right. Of course, the patient has to report it to the doctor first, otherwise the doctor doesn't know. Yeah. But the doctor will report that first to their own organization, but then it has to bubble up. And if it's very serious, it has to go to all the people, all the doctors, all the organizations that are using that drug, especially if people die. Then everyone should immediately stop using it. But if it's a nosebleed, then you might want to investigate more. So, hey, have you seen that before as well? But the doctors doesn't know who else is using that drug.
Okay.
And also every country has its own rules saying, hey, if it's very serious, then you have to report it in 3 days. Another one says 7 days. And so
it seems like even a very long range if you have to report, like there are people dying from it, but you have like 3 days time to report that. Yeah.
So it's not that, no, usually you don't report that people are dying from the drug. You say people have taken the drug and they died.
Yeah.
There's not necessarily have to be a correlation between those.
Yeah.
Or causation, I think. And so we're creating the software that does implements all those rules from all the countries that are working with the drugs trials, and we make sure that everyone's informed at the right time. So we're sending out stuff, we're distributing documents, we check if those documents reach the endpoint, those kind of things. So we have to prove that everything is done according to the rules.
So you have a unified API, like something. So you're working on one system for one of those pharmaceutical companies, and you're sending it to all the people who are using a certain drug, right? Are you sending out just the documents to the doctors that are using the prescriptive drug, or do you send the information to another system which is equally from another company creating drugs?
No, we're sending we're sending out emails, they might contain those documents or not. That's depending on all kind of settings. and we register that the documents have been received by those doctors, and those doctors have to go into the application, or if they download it directly, it's automatically tracked. And then we can see that they have like a read and understood kind of thing. So we can prove that we do our due diligence. Because otherwise the FDA or something might come in and say, hey, prove that you did everything that you should have done to prevent all kinds of stuff.
So I think I attended this talk in Oslo where you're talking about that. So I was interested in how do you detect if a doctor was reading the email, right? So we had this kind of dead pixel thing on the page. So if it's loaded, then there will be a call to a web server, like receiving an image to be shown in the email, and then your server recognizes that this client from this email is fetching this image, and then you can track it. But most of the clients, like Mail in Apple, for example, or Outlook from Microsoft, are prohibiting such things. So do you have one solution that is like still working, or do you change the procedure on how like to circumvent that?
No, the most so the Apple Mail does not prevent that because it's not like a little pixel. We're showing like a larger image. So if you're doing a little image or little pixel that you don't see, then people say, hey, they're tracking stuff in there that's not allowed. But if you're showing something very obvious, then it will work. Sometimes in some setting, I think it's Outlook that says, hey, you want to put this sender on the safe senders list. And if you click on that, then you're good. It's not 100% solution, but it just helps.
Yeah. Okay. I was guessing it was, or I was thinking it was 100% solution because it's like you have to prove that someone read the email.
No, but the ultimate proof is that they go into the application and download the document or look at the document and say, hey, I've read and understood this. But that they receive the email, step one. Otherwise, they can say, I've never received the email. And then we can just say, yes, you did.
Yeah, you have the headers, right, that the email server received it. But if you don't have an image loaded. So this is happening all the time currently on my Outlook. So it's not loading only one image in an email. So I have to explicitly say, load external images, even for my colleagues. So it's very restrictive, and I didn't do that by myself, right?
No, get rid of Outlook.
Yeah,
it's a Microsoft product.
Yeah, there are some reasons to stick to Outlook for at least for the business emails, but yeah, I mean I'm not a doctor who's receiving mails from your system, so I think I'm pretty good staying there until now. All right, so you were working for a couple of years in this project now. Right.
Yeah, 2.5 years, 3 maybe. Yeah,
and it's still getting new insights. You can make presentations out of it, right?
Oh, that's a good question. So actually, yes, it does. So the two that are coming up, or should be coming up, one of them is I've named Apex CI/CD from the trenches. So we're doing CI/CD. So there's all people saying, we know how to do it, and they have a theoretical story, and maybe they say, hey, we have implemented this with Jenkins and all kinds of flows. We also got our own approach, which works for us. And there's probably some elements. I don't say that everyone should use that same approach, but there are probably some elements in there that might be very interesting for other people as well. So my idea is to present that as a full-blown presentation. I think the first time will be Croatia. But.
So do you let your presentation be curated by the customer after creating it, or do you ask for specific screenshots you might show, or do you get even back to the customer and say if you can do that? So I know it from my perspective. So if I'm creating presentations where customer relation things are in it, I usually go back to them and show them the presentation, or just a bunch of screenshots, and that it will just say, I will talk about this and that. I'm allowed to do that.
So there will be no reference, not necessarily will be, I might name the company, but there is no reference in any screenshot or whatever to that company. So it's not like a specific solution for that company. It's just like little bits and bytes that we have implemented for them, but it can easily be reused for other ones. So I don't think I need to find approval, but maybe I should, but
yeah, I mean, if you're
depending
talking,
on the depends on the customer, of course.
that was exactly my thinking, that as you were talking about the technique you're using to, we have to call it track the users that are reading mails. There are a lot of people who are very, very against exactly such a thing, right? Because even if there are doctors and that's something they have to do, they have to receive the emails, they have to track that, it is not in their mind to be tracked automatically, right? There might be some controversial about that.
There might be,
exactly. And if you bring this discussion in the context with the customer who's asking you to do such a practice, there might be some backslash.
Yeah, but we don't want to do it secretly. So if the customer say how does that work, and we can explain them, because there's no say, hey, you're secretly trying to track what I'm doing. And it's not secret because we can tell you.
I mean, there will be not the doctors, there will not be the customer itself, like the pharmacy company who's having the problem. If you're having a talk and there's a very strict, I call them German guy who's sitting there saying, so this is GDPR, you cannot track them, this is not allowed, and there are people just standing up for the rights for like data protection and for anonymity and no tracking things, and that this might be a backlash, right?
Yeah, it could be, but probably those people have Outlook installed and with all the privacy settings to a maximum, so they will not get that experience then.
Yeah, okay. They have to click on a link and manually accept.
You have to allow this, like I say, add it to the safe senders list.
Yeah,
and then
it works.
Yeah,
great. Okay, this is a point in time in the podcast. I want to switch over to the categories. So we have usually 3 categories I'm asking you questions from. The first is hypothetically, in private and consumption. There are many words in there. I might chew down today, but let's start with the hypothetical category. So if you could undo one technological trend in the past, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. The technology trend that I despise: advertisements.
Advertisements at all? Or?
Spamming, email spams, those kind of advertisements. So I wanna have a clean inbox in my email, which is not polluted by stuff I don't want.
All right, and also advertisements on websites.
Oh, I've gone to websites. Asking a cookie.
This is not an advertisement. Like banners. I mean, banners are more often blocked away from Chrome or something like that. But advertisement in the internet as a.
No, I think that I hate the cookie. What is it called? The European cookie thing that every website asks. Are you okay with cookie? Yes, of course I'm okay. So
reject all or accept all.
Yeah, so that's the most stupid thing that's ever been implemented.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great answer. I was asking a little bit further because I was just thinking of if we wouldn't have any advertisement on websites or emails, there wouldn't be free services, right? So they would charge you for everything, as news sites are doing it right now. So if you're reading news, you will be bombed by 560 ads at one time, and then you have to pay $1 or $2 for an article to read. But I think if there weren't be any ads on the web, there might be some other way to finance companies. So we would have other problems.
So then you have to pay otherwise. You pay through advertisement.
Yeah.
Or you have to pay real money.
Real money, yeah. That's another discussion for another podcast, I think. But we can just, I see it the same way that we don't have to click on the cookie things for the next years. I hope they will do something about it. I was searching for plugins that automatically click this thing away, but
do they exist?
Just for a couple, I mean, I could just look into that. Maybe this is a niche. No, there are a couple of providers that are having this cookie thing, and then they are unique, or then they are just a generic that you can really access the buttons and click on it when they arrive. But I don't know how it is on legally side if you automatically click them away. But I mean, you might not care.
No, probably not.
All right. So next question is the exact opposite. So what would you like to invent or create in the technology sector what wasn't here before?
Yeah, if I had an answer to that, I was already doing that, right?
I mean, if you have any plan, but you're not able to do so. So it could be a time traveling machine, obviously. But if there's something which might be a little bit more realistic.
I think something in the medical world that helps people better, that they don't get sick that much, something like that.
So you wouldn't go into the technology sector at all? Like,
no, I'm not Elon Musk that
yeah.
thinks that having a spaceship is a brilliant idea and killing Twitter is a good idea either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it could be some software which is also having people with the medical situation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that could be anything. Could be drugs related or software related. Something that helps patients or helps people preventing from becoming a patient. Even. So maybe the people stay healthy, don't do more exercising, so they don't get sick.
Yeah, that's a great point. Next question, hypothetically again, what do you estimate your working day, your daily life would change in the next 10 years?
The next 10 years, I will retire, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere in those next 10 years. So that's the plan, actually.
And what's happening when you retire? So I'm just imagining a Dutch guy sitting in the garden with all the little, I don't know how do you call it, garden gnomes maybe, or just being totally chilled, sitting at the beach, eating flour. So tell me, how are you? Yeah, what vision do you have from the retirement then?
I think it'll probably be like a slow retirement. So just not from one day to another, from doing all kinds of stuff to nothing. Just doing the things that I really like to do. Maybe sit in the garden, walk the dog, visit cities, just relax, read. Maybe still some technical stuff. Maybe there are more people in the IT industry, also in the Oracle IT industry, that say that they are retiring, but
they never did.
They never really do. They're still there. They're still on Twitter. They still now and then do a little presentation somewhere.
Yeah.
It's very hard to retire completely.
I just talked the other day to a guy who was like retiring. So I'm not unveiling his name right now because I don't know the order of the publishing of the Steps on Tape episode. But he was retiring for a couple of months, I think, and it was too boring. He went back to development. Yes.
Maybe that happened. I don't know. Maybe it could be.
So moving to California, sitting on the beach each and every day. And then after a certain amount of time, no, this is too boring, I'm coming back. So, and if I just imagine that you will not travel around all over the year, so maybe you can just estimate how much days in the year, like 365 days, are you not at home?
Rough estimation, I would say 4 days a month.
All right. Okay. 4 days a month for
just average. So now we are here for a week. And July we're on holiday, so I'm not at home, but it doesn't count. It's not September we have Cloud World, so that's another week. And I have to do a Nordic Apex tour as well, which is another week. So that's.
And then there will be Croatia
and DOAG, but I'm not planning to go to the DOAG conference. UK OEG. I'm not sure about it.
And then there are like planning sessions for the next Kscope, I guess. I don't know how early they begin. And I saw that you are used to meet to in the location the Kscope will be. So you're going to be on the spot there at least one time, I guess, more than one time, right?
No. The conference. So we got the board of directors and we got a conference committee.
Okay.
So and there is some overlap because some of the directors aren't part of the conference committee, but whether I'm one of those, we don't know. We haven't decided yet. The conference committee will attend the site, so Nashville. I think only once, and usually and the board of directors usually also has their face-to-face meeting in February on the location where it is. So not always, because at one time we should have gone to Boston. We went to Boston, we should have gone somewhere else. I don't know, somewhere. But in the winter in February, it would be really, really cold there. So we got to Wilmington where the YCC resides.
Okay. So this might be something we can write on that list, right?
Could be, yeah.
Could be. All right. So, yeah, this was a question about your retirement. I'm very eager to see how it will work. So you're at home that often, that much. Yeah, we see you on many conferences, I guess. And you don't have anything to talk about unless you're still in the tech. So you're not going to retire. I'm going to.
Okay, that's your bet?
Yeah, it's my best. Yeah. All right, next question. In private, that's a category for in private. So are you satisfied with your work-life balance currently? So you already said that you have so many, you can do what you want, right? So, and I guess you are really doing what you want, and you don't have you don't have problems with your work-life balance currently, right?
Absolutely not. Otherwise, it will be my problem, right? So, so I can influence my work-life balance perfectly. So, I'm working from home for 100% not because of COVID, but because our project team is in the UK, Germany, Philippines, etc. So. It just
doesn't make sense to
go somewhere where not everyone's there anyway. So, and I work 4 days a week, which is perfectly fine for me.
Awesome. It sounds so enjoyable, right? If you just have everything in your own responsibility, you can do whatever you want. All right, you're not going to retire. I say that again. It will be too boring then. Another question from the in private category. What role does your private environment play in your job? So, are you surrounded by geeks or nerds or art?
No, yeah, in my work, yes, of course, but at home, no. My wife's a doctor. My oldest daughter is a doctor, but she doesn't live in home anymore, and the youngest is a student in communication. So there's no
nerd talk.
Nerd talk. No. So if there is nerd talk, it's usually when my wife and daughter talk medical.
Okay, and you can't follow, right?
No, they have. So we might have difficult words and abbreviations, but if you're a doctor, there's lots of difficult words that you don't know about.
Do you have touching points with your wife or your daughter regarding your current project you were talking about?
They know about the current project, but they're not part of the.
So they're not the doctors. They were referred by this company because they might not receive those medics or something.
No, they're not the doctors that do drug trials.
Okay. Oh yeah, drug trials. Not yeah. All right, I guess. All right. Next question from in private. Would you show us your screen time on your iPhone without blushing? So very active on social media. I know.
I think I switched it off, but
you don't have anything running right now. You mean?
I switched the screen time thing off.
Oh, the functionality. All right, so you cannot show it, so you're not going to blush, right?
No.
All right. Next question.
But usually on the it totally depends. So right here, I might spend quite some time on Twitter and in the Kscope app, but back at home is more news, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Just news. Yeah. This leads me to the next and last category. So it's regarding consumption. How do you consume news, like regular news, and an extent to that, new knowledge?
So regular news, I'm using the official sites from the Dutch news agencies to follow the news, and we got an electronic version of a paper. So we had a real version, paper version, of course, but we stopped having that and just an electronic version.
Yeah.
So I can read those things as well. The technical news, the work related news. Usually, Twitter is still my first source, which might link to blogs and those kind of things.
Sure.
Or short videos. I don't like longer videos, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, longer videos. I mean, we made this experience on our own that short videos, even if they're embedded in Twitter, way more got way more engagement on there. All right, so Twitter is your first choice, and even short conferences, right? So are you attending the talks and conferences that much, or do you have so many to do on the?
So right here is so much else things to do, so I cannot.
Recording podcasts, for example.
Podcast and those kind of things. At other conferences, I try to attend as many sessions as I can.
Oh yeah, sure. So this is another source of knowledge. Great. All right. this leads me to the next question, which is also in the consumption category. How do you deal with the growing flood of information via various channels like news, notifications on your phone? So let me guess, all turned off.
No, lots of them are turned off, yeah.
So you don't have to deal with too many notifications on your phone during the day? And
no, so during the conference, everything is on silent, so I feel the messages coming in, like that. And the board here uses Slack as their main communication feature, so I definitely need to watch that because I might need to do something somewhere. Of course, I see the emails coming in, but if they're really important, then
you might see it on the first look, right? And then
just say ignore or swipe left or swipe right or whatever.
Yeah, that's the right way to do. All right, last question from the consumption part. Do you turn off your cell phone at night?
Yes, it's on silent at night. So that means that my family can still reach me, but everything else will be blocked.
That's very interesting because
between 10 in the evening and I think 8 in the morning.
The last 5 recordings of the podcast, it was always the same answer. So there are some people who are turning off their phone completely. There's one person, she's even putting her phone in a different room at night, charging it in the bathroom, not having it in the near of the bed because it's, I
want to have it near me because, let's say, the family can reach me. Yeah. So if something, my parents are quite old. So they're both still alive, luckily, but they are around 90. So
you definitely need to be reachable, right?
Yeah, so that's why I have the phone with a bedroom stand, but it's on silent, so they can reach me. So they will go through, but nothing else will.
Awesome. Okay, so that's it. All my questions are done. Thank you very much, Roel. It was a very great insight in your life, in your traveling life. So it made it very clear for me how it works. And I mean, it is a very great vision to be so good in contributing at conferences. And the same way you entered the conferences should be something newcomers and freshly employed people who want to try to present at conferences, that's the right path to do so, right? Attend a conference, look at speeches or presentations, and then try it by your own. And you might find a mentor or someone experienced.
Yeah. There's a mentor program even, so if you can mention that. There's a MASH program, MASH, where experienced people can help less experienced people with their presentations. So they can help you creating the presentation, creating abstracts, create ideas. It's just like a mentor-mentee kind of thing. So if people are interested in doing so, then look at the MASH program.
That's awesome. All right, Roel, thank you for your participation here in this podcast. And I hope you have a great and successful conference for the last 2 days now. And yes, thank you for being here in the podcast.
Okay, thank you, Kai. It was nice talking to you.
All right, bye.